Welcome back. So, in our today's session, we will be seeing how to read write Excel sheet by using Apache POI in Java. So, Apache POI is a Java library that is giving few of the exposing few of the methods to read and write the Excel sheet. So, we will be seeing how we can create a Maven project and then add all the pom.xml dependencies like the Apache POI, and then we will see how we can set the Excel sheet path and the sheet read the data, and then we will see how we can utilize the Excel sheet operations that we have to create a utility method, and then that utility method we will be calling into our Selenium test script. I mean, if it is a particular framework that you are using, then you can read it. So that framework would be like a Cucumber or like a page object model or TDD, BDD, doesn't matter. You can use this particular utility methods in your test script or else in your page objects as well. So basically, why are we learning this Excel sheet? So with the increasing the number of test data, sometimes it is difficult to put it inside a map, like, or a list or a variable. It is better to keep that Excel sheet in your project so that anyone in your team, whoever is using those particular tests, they can handle, even they can change the data which is not dependent to your program or to your framework. Because let's say that if you're giving to somebody who is a bit non-tech, but they want to test something, so then they just need to update the Excel sheet data, and then they can just execute your framework to see how your application is behaving. So these are the pretty much the different scenarios where we need an Excel sheet to handle your test data and then execute and read those data into our Selenium script. So that is what we are going to see. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing is that you have to create a Maven project. So you know already how to create a Maven project, and then you have to add few of the pom.xml dependencies. Like as you can see, I have these two pom.dependencies. One is the Apache POI, that is the latest version. By the time I'm making this video is 4.1.2, and there is another dependency you need, that is POI.ooxml. So this both of these dependencies you can get it from here. So if you go to the mavenrepository.com, you will get the Apache POI. So this is the latest version till today, and then there is another one, that is POI.ooxml. So you can just grab it from here, just copy paste this section, and then you are done. Okay, so after you add into your pom.xml, what you can do, you can just go to your project. So right click on that project, and then you can go to the Maven, and here is something you can see, reload project. So once you reload that, all the dependencies will check whether those dependencies are installed into your framework or not. If you are not getting, sometimes what you can do, there is a, on the right hand side, if you see, there is a life cycle is there. So these are the life cycle of your Maven. So here you can install the packages, or you can compile to see if there are no other errors, and all the dependencies are already downloaded and it is in place, so that you need not to worry about the methods that you're going to use. Okay, so that's pretty much the prerequisite you need to do to what do you call, to get started with the Excel sheet handling. Okay, so now what I will be doing, so under this test Java, what I will do, I will create a new package, and I have already the Selenium jar files already. So if you see, let me just go there. If you see, Selenium Java jar files are already there, so you need not to worry about that. I mean, the Maven dependencies, you can add it as well. So let me right click new, and then I will create a package, test data, some package I am using here, and then I will do another package here, and I will say that Excel, sorry, it has to be small, right? Excel util, that much only. Okay, and under this I will be creating a Java class. Let's make it as Excel reader. So this will be my utility. Under this I will be creating, let me add to the gate. Okay, so as you can see, test data, is a just a package I'm taking. But in your framework, if you have already built a framework, you can just put this Excel reader inside your utility package if you have that. So Excel reader. Now here we are going to perform all these operations. So first thing is that we need to write some code base to handle the Excel path and sheet, so that the POI library should act on that particular Excel sheet or Excel file where it is. So normally it is recommendable to keep it inside your project folder, so that whenever you are what do you call pushing that into a repo, it will be going with your project, and then the other person who will be pulling your code from Bitbucket or Git or wherever it is, they can download with that Excel sheet or Excel file. So that will be easy actually. So for that, what I have done, so if I go here, I have already created one Excel sheet, and that name of that is testdata.xlsx. So this is basically the XLSX, but you can use the old version, that is I guess 2012 version or 13 version, that is nothing but XLS. Anyway, you can use it. Okay, so let me show you that how it looks like. So let me just reveal in Finder. And then if you see under this, I have this Excel sheet already, and I have few data there. So as you can see, I have this sheet one. You can give any other name also, no problem, because we will be going to make it as dynamic. And then the first row is basically the headers. What is that column header all about? And these from the second row onwards, or the index one onwards, all the test data will be there. So at this moment I have only one row of data, but you can have n number of test data here. Okay, just you need to specify which row you want to fetch it. So that is all about your test data. Okay, now as you can see here, we will be learning two different ways of reading the data. One is by using the row and column index, so you need not to provide that column name, which is sometimes difficult because you don't know which column which data is there. So that's why we will be learning the second approach, that is by using the column name, so that you need not to worry about which column which data is there. You just need to say, okay, I want to get the username, and then the third row or the first row I want to get the password, but which is on second row. So that will be kind of convenient for you to read the Excel sheet data. Even there are few more features which you can practice on your own, like highlighting a specific column or highlighting a specific cell or a particular row and column. You can do that. So you can explore more after learning all these things. And then at the end, the actual practical uses of this Excel utility which we are creating, that is how do we read the data and then perform certain browser operations. That is what we are going to see. Okay, so my jar files are ready, or the maven dependencies. I have the Excel sheet ready. Now I have created this Excel reader, which is basically the utility method, and here I have to get few of the objects of that Apache POI. So I have already that here. So let me just copy paste those things. Will explain once I will copy paste here. Okay, so as you can see, so this is file input stream. This is basically holding the folder path or the file path, the Excel sheet path. Okay, so which is nothing but your what do you call the project folder. And then workbook. See, normally manually if I want to say, I will say that okay, get me the row one and column one data from this particular Excel file. What we normally do, we navigate to that particular folder or directory, open that Excel file, that is nothing but the workbook, and then we need to navigate to that specified worksheet or the sheet which we want, and then we are pointing or we are keeping our eye on the row 1 and column 1 to fetch the data. The same thing we will be simulating by using this Apache POI. So for that I need the Excel file path, okay, and then workbook, and then worksheet. Cell is nothing but combination of the row and column. So for that I have this row, and for inside the cell, if I get the get column method, I will be getting the specific column as well. Okay, and then this last one is basically the columns, it's a map. I will be letting you know what is the usage of this. So this is basically, we have to capture all the column headers and keep it here, so that you need not to worry about the column names or the column indexes. That is the second approach. For that we are using this map. Okay, so now the first method we need to use is that set excel file. Okay, so whenever you want to read any data inside your any of the file in your framework, first thing is that you need to call this particular method, and that method is nothing but this method. Okay, so here you have to use this particular method. Okay, set excel file, and this will accept your excel sheet excel file path and the particular sheet name which you want to perform, or from where you are reading the data. So for that I have already mentioned here, so file, and so let me do one thing. So all of these things are not necessary, just whichever is necessary, let me just put those things, and then I will be explaining them one by one. And then workbook, worksheet, these things all I need. Okay, and then here I can just write a catch block, and this will just hold the exception. And here let me put something here, and I will just get the message. That's it. Okay, so now here you can see, as I was telling, manually you have to go to that excel file path, right? And then you have to open that workbook, and that workbook is basically from this excel file, right? That much simple. For that I'm using this workbook factory class, or the class, yes, and then I'm calling a create method which is holding that excel path. From there I'm getting the get sheet, that is nothing but the sheet name. So this is basically not required at this moment, because this is only required if your file is not exist or the sheet is not there. But because we are reading the data, I need to make sure that the file path is correct and then the sheet is correct, so that I can get the actual path. Now here you can see I have used one private string, that is excel file path. Why I'm using? Because the path which I've sent from that framework, I have to capture to this local variable. That's why I'm using this dot excel file path, so that the upcoming methods whatever I want to create, I can use this particular path. Okay, because I will be only sending the file path once only. While reading the data, I won't be sending the excel path time to time, so that will save your time. Okay, so this one, let me just grab it properly. Okay, there is another one. Okay, so this is your first setup method which you have to call at the first instance whenever you want to read the data. The second one will be reading the excel sheet data. Okay, so for that I have already created one get cell data. Let me copy paste that one as well. Now if I do that, it is again very straightforward. Let me just go line by line. So get cell data, which will definitely return the string, that particular value which you need, and this will accept row name and column name number actually. So this is basically the index. Let's say that you want to fetch, let me open that excel sheet. So let's say that you want to fetch this particular value. So this is nothing but row 1 and column 0. The index always starts from 0 only. So so row 1 and column 0. So that is what I'm going to show here. Fine. So that is nothing but the index of a row and column. So here what I'm going to do here, this sheet is basically coming from here. Okay, that particular sheet which I want to read. So sh dot get row, that is nothing but a row index. Get cell, this is nothing but your column, that is nothing but column index. Now here initially I am just creating a local data which I local string which I want to return. Now here there are possible types, right? See, your excel sheet cell can be an integer, can be a big long text, I mean long number, or a numeric value. It can be even a string, or it can be a date as well. So these are the possible values you can have in your Excel sheet. Okay, so those things, because the fetching is not what you call same for all of these types. Okay, if it is a string, so that's why I'm putting a switch case. So this cell dot get cell type basically will return you whether it is a string or a numeric or a boolean value like true or false, or it can be even blank also. So you can't always call this method cell dot get string cell value, because if it is a numeric it will throw you some exception. So that's why we have to handle it separately. So that's why I'm making a case string. If it is a string data, then call this method and get that value. But what if it is a numeric? So at that moment, numeric can be two types. One is it can be a date format, it can be even a double value or a float value, it can be a long numeric as well. So for that we have two different methods. One is like here if you see, so date util is cell so this cell is nothing but now you got that particular cell, the row number and column number. Now if I get this one like date util dot is date cell formatted, this is a method coming from a date util class. This will give you whether that data is a date format or not. If it is a date format, then use this particular method actually. If it is not a not a date, then the next thing is that it can be a double. A double means it can be like 123, it can be 123 dot 50 or something decimal values or something. So at that time what you need to do, this get numeric cell value will basically returns the double value. So let's see, as you can see here, public abstract double, so it always returns a double value. But sometimes you might not want to take it as a double value, you might want to take it as a string only. So for that reason what I'm doing, I'm converting that into a string dot value of. So string dot value of now, like if I control space here, this is basically a overloaded method. It can accept any of the data type. That's why I'm using everywhere string dot value of, string dot value of. If it is a boolean dot to string I can use, or else I can just say string dot value of cell dot get boolean cell value. We'll see that just after some time. Now this numeric you can see I'm like casting this one to a long. Now why I'm doing, see sometimes what happens if your value, like let me open this Excel sheet. Here you can see it is 10 digit value is there. Now whenever you are getting the value by using this get cell get numeric cell value, you will get this whole value dot zero you will be getting. Okay, so this might be like while you're fetching the data and then comparing with your let's say application, you might get some assertion errors because dot zero is an extra appending automatically because it always returns a double value. So for that reason I am converting that into a long. So now what will happen, if long means it will just give me the same data only, whatever the data is here, the same whole number I will be getting. That's why I'm converting that into a long, and then I will be just putting it into a string. There is no problem after that. Sometimes you might get a true false, so that you can just use by using this boolean dot to string, and this is again cell exposed method actually. Sometimes if your Excel sheet data is blank, then I need not to read the data because anyway it is blank. So if the type, I mean this get cell type is blank, then I mean the data is blank and I can return as usual that one. Okay, and then if you are getting any exception, you can print that exception, or else you can just return a blank value so that it will be showing blank whenever you are fetching the data. So this is that simple. You need to just focus here what kind of values we are getting from that Excel sheet cell, then as per that you can get all of these things. Now one catch in this, let's say you are confident that your Excel sheet data is completely string type only. There are some ways what people might do, they will just select everything like this, and then there is something called as format cells. And then here what they will do, they will make it as string format, or else they will make it as a text format. Like this they can do that. So it means that it won't accept any numbers, currency, nothing. Even the date format, everything will convert into string only. So you can just use this particular value method only. But I would say just copy paste this utility method and everything will be handled automatically. Okay. So that's pretty much about this particular get cell data. So this suffice our need of this first point, like reading the data based on row and column index. But sometimes you might not sure that the email is on the one index, or it is here, or it is here. You don't know. So it is better approach to call to know this. I mean, to just call this particular column header only. So for that, what we need to do, we need to handle in such a way, if I'm using the column name, it should grab the index. Means if I'm saying that email, so it should get I mean, we need to write such a way, we need to find it out what index this email is there. So this email is on the first index of the column. If I want to get gender, 0 1 2 3, so this is my third index. So this index has to be automatically fetched by your code actually. So for that, what I will be doing, I will be creating another method. And for that, if you see, it's a very small utility but very handy actually. If you see, so this is public string get cell data. Here is something I am using the column name, that is nothing but the full name or email or telephone. I just need to send this one, but my actual method accepts row number and column number. Now I need to convert that string or the column header into the index. So that is what I'm doing here. That's where actually this columns map, whatever I'm using, right, that it will be helping here. So for that, what I will do here, I will use now here. So whenever I'm setting this Excel file, I need to, these columns should hold all of this what do you call, like all of these strings or the column headers with respect to their index, like full name 0, email, that is on 1. So here string and the index value. So that is what I'm going to do here. So I will be using a small for loop. Okay, so let me just copy paste that one as well. So I have written already here code lines. And if you see, so sh dot get row. Now get row means which row I want to get. This first row only, because I want to just fetch all the header values only. So that's why I'm saying get row of 0. Sh dot get row of 0 means first row I am fetching. Then I'm looping that, looping each of these column values. Okay, and then adding to this columns map. Simple thing. So cell dot get string cell value. So get string cell value is nothing but, now what is this, that cell? So I am saying first row only. Okay, so first rows, first loop will be first column only. So first row first column, second column first row, third column first row, fourth column first row. Why first row? Because I have already determined here get row, so that I need not to worry about that. So whenever the loop goes, so whenever I'm looping it, don't think first, second, third row. It goes like this: first loop, second loop, third loop, fourth loop, like that it is going, and the index of that. And then all of these things I'm putting inside this columns. Now in our this second approach, what I'm doing, row number anyway I'm sending, because this is my row number I'm sending. And then columns dot get whatever that string I'm sending. So let's say if I'm saying email, now what will happen here, email will be coming, and then columns dot email. So email, whenever I'm saying, this will give me the index of 0 1. So this will return the 1, and that will be going to this one row number. Okay, so that's how these things are determined. Okay, so this is reverse. If you see, so this row number I'm keeping here, and this string whatever I'm sending, with respect to that whatever column index is there, that is going to the second parameter, because here I have to use. So why I made like this reverse, because I want to utilize this method for both of this, because for this one only I don't want to again create the logic actually. So this is basically like reducing the repetitive for redundancy, right? Because by using the same method I can even use this approach as well. So with this small two utilities, if you are sending row name column name, this method will be executed. If you are sending string, then this method, and this is a overloaded method, you can see. So let's see how we can call these particular methods, and then see whether we are able to read the data properly or not. So for that, what I will be doing, I will be using a main method here. Then we will see the actual Selenium test, how we can use. So public static void main, and then string args. Okay, and here let's call this one. So here what I will do, first I will create an object of this. So excel reader, and I will just say excel equal to new excel reader. Okay, excel dot get cell data. Okay, so before doing that, I need to set this one, because I don't know, I mean, this particular test don't know, right, what kind of file I'm going to handle. So that is nothing but in my, under my repository, right, project repository. So that is test data dot xlsx file, and then this sheet name is first sheet, that is nothing but sheet 1. So that's how you will be pointing out. And then I think this will be giving me to add an exception, and then excel dot get cell data. So at this moment I will be using this second overloaded method, that is the first one. So that is nothing but, I think, full name, and then the first row of that. See here, I need not to worry about where is this index actually. I can just say that the text. So let's just put this one inside a print so that we can see the output. The same thing, let me grab all of these things. Okay, and full name, after that email, after that it is a telephone. Okay, so let's go with this many things only. Now let's run this one, and first row, because I have only one row. If you have multiple rows, you can just use the that index actually. So let me run this one. Okay, let's see what is that error. Okay, so the reason is that here we are making it as file F, but here we are using FIS, so that's where actually this WB is becoming null. So let me just remove this debugger, and I will put it as FIS, and hopefully everything else will be executing properly. So let me just run this one, and here you can see you got the output. So that's how you can use it. So these are the two lines that you need to first mention. First is creating an object of this particular utility, and then you have to set that excel file, so with the file path and then the sheet name, so that it can point out to the specific sheet. And then you can just call by using the get cell data. Even you can use like this, excel dot get cell data. Let's say first index of row number, first index of the column number, so this will return your the first row first column value. Okay, so like that also you can fetch the value. Okay, so this is about by using a main method, but let's see how we can utilize it in our Selenium test. So for this, what I will be doing, I will create a small Selenium test, and I will say it as Selenium underscore Excel sample, some name I'm putting, and let me add to the git. And here what I will be doing, the same thing I have already written that. So let me just copy paste from there. So this is basically the one. Let me copy paste whole and paste it here. Okay, this should be it. Okay, fine. Now it is all set. Okay. So now if you see here, it's a very basic Selenium script you all know. So I am using the WebDriver Manager setup, and then I'm so that it can handle all the Chrome driver or whatever driver I'm using specific to the browser, and then Chrome browser I'm using. So this is the application that I'm using at this moment. So let me just go to this one. And here you can see I'm going to add the full name, email, telephone, and then I have to select something from here from this drop down. So that's what I'm going to do. So for this I need specific test data. So this is what I am writing here. The same thing which we have seen in the main method. So the same thing I have copy pasted here as well. Okay, you can see get cell data, and I'm using everything I'm keeping inside a string so that I can use it while writing the automation script. So here I have identified the username, the email field, the telephone field, and I'm sending that text. So first I'm fetching the value, then I'm using here so that it is not hard coded. Okay. Now here if you see, then this is a, if you see here, this is a what you call drop down, right? It's a select element. So for that I am using like this, select equal to new select, and then this is I'm identifying the select by value the gender, and this gender is coming from the Excel sheet, whatever value it is coming. It's selecting there, waiting for 3 seconds, and then quitting the browser. That much it. So this is the only new thing. Instead of hard coding here inside this send keys method, I am fetching the value from the Excel sheet and using this one. Okay, even what you can do, you can write another utility, grab all of this data and put it into a map, and then read that map here. So even that is one of the way you can do that. But this is just a sample one, so that's why I'm writing all of these things here. But there is no problem. Sometimes what happens, let's say you have like 10 or 15 test data you need from the 15 different columns. So better approach is to create a utility method like inside your utility package or wherever it is there. Read the test data specific to this particular test, and then return that map into this particular test, and then read that map here. You can do that as well. So I mean, give it a try and see whether that works for you or not. Okay. So as this is a test ng test, I will just right click. Just a second. So I'll make this one is public, and then this one is public, so that I can right click and then run this particular test. So this will launch the browser and enter all the values. So as you can see, it entered all the values and selected the value as well, selected the gender as well, and then it closed. So that's how you can utilize in your test script. Even what you can do, so this is actually one way of utilizing the test data. What else you can do? You can just get the all the test data from the Excel sheet, grab all the what you call values from that elements in your browser. You can just say browser dot find element by id username dot get text. Now you get that into a string. Now you can compare the test data from the Excel sheet and your browser element data to see if your application is behaving correctly or not, like matching the expected and actual result. So that is again another way of validating and utilizing your test data. Okay, so that's pretty much which I had for today to discuss. So give it a try, and if you're getting any issues, do let me know in the comment section, or do send me an email with your code base if you're not properly executing those things. Yeah, so hope this helps, and stay tuned. We will be seeing some more features of Selenium. Do subscribe if you haven't. Thank you for watching.